Thank you, everybody. My name is Joshua Breitbart. I'm the Senior Vice President for ConnectALL at Empire State Development. Appreciate you taking the time to join us for the ConnectALL Deployment Program information session on our request for application for priority, reliable, and alternative technology solutions. Next slide, please. The session is being recorded. We will share the recording and the slides to everybody who's participated in the session, and we'll post them to the ConnectALL website. As we go through, we will share important links in the chat. We'll also include those links in the email that we send out. We will not be responding to questions during the session, but if you share them either to our ConnectALL deployment at esd.ny.gov email address, or during this information session using the Q&A function, we will include responses to those as soon as we're able to prepare them and send them out. Next slide. So the ConnectALL deployment program is the part of ConnectALL that is focused on reaching unserved and underserved locations across the state, specifically distributing approximately $644 million from the Federal Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. And we continue to refine the eligible location list based on the available data, working from the FCC Broadband Data Collection Program. Next slide. This is the timeline we're working on. So thank you to everybody who's participated in the program so far. And it has been many steps going well back even before February 7th, 2025, as you see here, because you've been working on this, you've been sharing data, refining those federal maps. And just thank you so much for being such great partners to the state, along with the work that you do every day to deliver internet service and make this a thriving state and country. Currently, we are at the April 23rd, 2025 information session as we proceed towards the May 5th, 2025 deadline for this application, on our way towards preparing a final proposal that will account for all of the eligible locations in the state. Next slide, please. So we're going to provide an overview of the application that we're requesting responses to. We continue with the goal of identifying subgrantees to deploy broadband service to unserved and underserved locations statewide, specifically focused on locations for which we do not have other proposals or ways to address them. The eligible applicants have to have completed a pre-qualification application, which is also open. Any of the types of entities that you see here, and ultimately we're seeking to enter into a grant agreement subject to approval by the National Telecommunications and Information Administration and their partners at the Department of Commerce. Next slide. So the RFA, as you may be familiar with, focuses on a subset of project areas. So of all the project areas that we have previously identified and been working with, we are now seeking proposals for 95 of those project areas. One project area application can address multiple project areas, as I'll explain in greater detail. The applications should maximize the coverage that you can address in terms of the number of locations without exceeding $30,000 grant cost per location within the project, within that project area. Applicants can submit for one or more of the potential technology categories of priority, reliable, and alternative, and we'll get into that in greater detail. And you should be aware that all the application templates are consolidated in a single project workbook for each technology type, and we may request additional materials as we proceed through the evaluation process. But we want to make it as streamlined a process as possible as we move through these stages of the applications. We're still supporting our process towards that goal. Next slide. Of the 95 project areas, which includes at this point 22,078 locations, you can see generally where these proposals are, these project areas are included in this request for applications and which ones are not. We have an interactive map that you can use to view the project areas, where you can also download shapefiles to work with them as well. And we continue to review information on any of these 22,078 locations that anybody has questions about their eligibility, potentially subject to enforceable commitments, that they are not broadband serviceable or would not take mass market service, or if they are already served by a provider or providers. And thank you to everybody who attended our information session on that process, and we'll provide that link as well in case you have any additional information to share as we continue to refine our map in support of this program. Next slide. For each project area, again, we're seeking proposals with a maximum coverage cost per location of $30,000. And that is calculated as the total grant funding divided by the number of locations to be served within the proposed project area. Within that, it is not required to address 100% of the locations in the project area. We, though, continue to seek proposals that maximize the number of locations that can be included. And based on what we receive or other factors, we may establish a minimum coverage percentage within a project area and seek revisions to ensure that applications have an opportunity to meet that minimum coverage percentage requirement. Again, the goal here is connect all. Next slide. Project proposals may vary by broadband technology type. So priority broadband projects, those are end-to-end fiber projects. Reliable broadband projects can include cable or hybrid fiber coax, as well as licensed terrestrial fixed wireless. Alternative technology projects generally include unlicensed fixed wireless and low Earth orbit satellite or LEO technology types. So any applicants can submit one or more or all three of these technology categories. Next slide. So within, for each applicant, you have to submit a pre-qualification application if you have not done so already. And I'll review more how this structure works through each of these tiers. This gives you an overview of the different components that I will speak to. So again, the pre-qualification application, the project area application, the project workbook, and the project proposal. Next slide. The pre-qualification application, we have reopened. So if you have not yet submitted a pre-qualification application, you may do so up to the deadline of May 5th. And again, only one pre-qualification application per applicant. And you can see the link to our previous information session on this application on the page here. And again, that will be included in the email to you. Next slide. Applicants may submit, each applicant would submit a single project area application. Each project area application can include up to 3 workbooks based on the technology type for which you are submitting a proposal. So if you are submitting multiple technology types, make sure you include the project workbook for that technology type, priority, reliable, or alternative. If you're only working with one technology, type, you would only work with one project workbook for that technology. And again, keep in mind that ultimately when we're making awards, it's based on a project area basis. And again, we'll share more details on that as we go through. So one pre-qualification application per applicant, one project area application per applicant, up to 3 project workbooks. Next slide. All project proposals must be submitted within the project workbook for the corresponding technology type. Each project workbook includes all of the available project areas, which means up to 95 project areas, up to potentially up to 95 proposals within each individual workbook. So within that technology type for that workbook, that's where you submit your project proposal for the project area. And again, that can be one or more project proposal within each workbook, up to 95. So the maximum number of potential proposals that one applicant can submit would be 3 times 95. 3 technology categories, 95 project proposals within each one, or it can be as few as 1 proposal within 1 workbook for 1 applicant. Next slide. One note that is specific to how to complete the project proposal within the workbook. What you would see is the list of locations, and you would indicate which of those locations you plan to serve. For alternative technology, for unlicensed fixed wireless, that continues to be the case as you select the specific locations that you would propose to serve. For low Earth orbit satellite, you can select the specific locations and indicate that in the workbook, or you can scroll to the right in the workbook for that project area and indicate a maximum number of locations in that area if the locations are not specific, but the capacity is the key to indicate within that geographic area. So again, you can find that on the same project workbook or on the same project area tab within the project workbook. Just scroll to your right to find that. Next slide. The application components, if you've reviewed the previous application, much of this may look familiar. The applicant profile, identifying the project proposal type, information related to your managerial capability. As noted, a number of these are attachments that you provide in the documentation, in the documents tab of the CFA application portal. And I'll identify that later if you're not familiar. Next slide. The technical proposal, as you see here, and just one note is that the details related to the low-cost waiver have to be provided in the application questions, not the project workbook. So that would be the specific details on the products and pricing. And then another note related to demonstrations of support from local, county, and/or tribal nation governments. While that is optional, the deadline for that is May 19th, so we provide an extra 2 weeks so that you can complete your project, submit it by the deadline, and take that information to partners, to these potential entities to that you may request a letter of support from. If you have any questions about contacting any county or tribal nation government, you can reach out to us and we can facilitate that. And we greatly appreciate the lengths everybody has gone to have such strong communication across all the partners in the state. We continue to see that as a great strength of for New York, the extent of communication of government and internet service providers and other stakeholders. Next slide. We have additional reference materials on the ConnectALL website, including the application instructions and the checklist. Obviously, the checklist is something that you'll want to use as you get towards the point of submission. But the instructions, everything else you see here is really stuff that you should engage with at the beginning of the application process. All this information is available on the ConnectALL website for you to download and consider. Next slide. A note of how you approach identifying locations for a project proposal. So as noted, we are scoring and comparing proposals based on the project area, but you can approach it from the eligible location list, which is a single list for all of the eligible locations, using your own access to the FCC fabric to get the specific locations and map the location list based on the FCC ID numbers. It does include information on counties and regions and other information about the locations that you can use to inform your the list of locations you want to propose to serve. You then would work from there to identify the project areas that those locations are included in, and ultimately enter the relevant information for those locations within the project area in the project workbook. So you certainly can work from the map of project areas, work from the regions generally that you want to serve, and look at those project areas, but you can, and that is how the project workbook is broken up. You can also work from the location list, and then as you complete the project workbook, make sure you indicate the eligible locations that you wish to serve or propose to serve within the specific project area in the appropriate tabs of the project workbook. Next slide. If you're not familiar with the Consolidated Funding Application Portal, I would recommend that you go to that immediately after this information session at the link that you see on this, and that we'll share in the chat and in the email when we send it out. But if you have not already registered in the portal, please click the button that has a circle around it on the screen, on this screen, not on the application portal, but click the register button and proceed to register. Next slide. And the note it said on there that you can return to your application using the token that it generates when you begin that process. So to begin the application, select the ConnectALL deployment program under the other New York State programs category. So that's what we're looking for is ConnectALL deployment program. Next slide. You do have to click through this page, but you should know that this is not relevant for this application. This is an artifact of the process. So you can select any region and proceed with application to continue, but you do have to select in order to continue. Next slide. Another thing to note is that the documents and questionnaire tabs contain the application questions and the requirements. All of the questions that require attachments are in the documents tab. Some attachments are only required based on answers to questions in the questionnaire section. So again, you can toggle between these tabs as needed and refer also to the application checklist to make sure that everything is complete. Next slide. You also will have to indicate the application number for your pre-qualification application in order to complete a project area application. So make sure that you get that from your pre-qualification application number shown up at the top, and then enter that in the appropriate question in the project area application, where it asks for your pre-qualification application CFA number as shown on the page here. Next slide. When you complete the application, this is the review and submit page. So just keep in mind, you will not be able to make changes after you submit. Again, where you click is not relevant to the application, but we do expect you all to click within the state of New York because whenever you have the option, that's what you want to do. And again, just make sure it's complete and submit. And please make sure you submit by the deadline. Next slide. After you submit, and we will review in the order as shown on the slide. So first, we assess to make sure the proposals are meet the criteria to proceed. Then we look at them in order of the technology type and the coverage. So priority, then reliable, then alternative. And then for applications that are competitive within those technology types and coverage, we use the scoring criteria to select the highest scoring applicant. And note again that if there are overlapping locations, we may request proposals for additional coverage percentages and or technology types at a later date to address all of the locations in the that are eligible in the state. Next slide. The scoring criteria for priority proposals is shown on the left in terms of minimal BEAD program outlay, affordability, fair labor practices, speed to deployment, local and tribal government coordination, and connecting community anchor institutions. That same criteria apply for reliable broadband and alternative technology proposals other than the last item, connecting community anchor institutions. You'll see that 14 points in that case is based on speed of network and other technical capabilities. More details on these are in the initial proposal that we submitted to and was approved by NTIA, which you can find on our website. Next slide, please. Again, this is just a recap of where we are in the timeline. The request for applications is open now. The deadline is May 5th, May 19th for those letters of support. We may proceed with additional solicitations if necessary and proceed with clarifications or negotiations as appropriate as we progress towards preparing our final proposal to submit to NTIA for review and approval before we can proceed with grant disbursements under this program. Next slide. Again, if you have any questions, thank you for those who submitted them using the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen, and we'll stay open for a bit longer after we close for any questions you want to submit that way, or through the email at connectall@esd.ny.gov, and we will work to get answers to everybody at the same time as quickly as we can. And again, we will share all the slides, links, and recording of this session through email and on our website in short order. Thank you again for your interest in this program, for the work that you do, for your time today. And thank you, as always, to the entire ConnectALL team for supporting this effort and preparing us for these information sessions. But we look forward to reviewing your applications. Thank you.